Welcome back to Breakfast with the Arts. 19 years after its London premiere, Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera remains one of the world's most popular stage musicals. Webber's vision continues its journey from stage to screen and now to home entertainment. The film, directed by Joel Schumacher, would earn Emmy Rossum a Breakthrough Performance Award from the National Board of Review and garner 3 nominations for both the Golden Globe and Academy Awards. Now a look at the latest adaptation of The Phantom of the Opera.
People sort of say The Phantom is very personal to me because they slightly put words into my mouth.
You know, I think this show's probably the closest to his heart.
I mean, although The Phantom is obviously, probably the most successful thing I've ever done, and I probably never repeat it, it's still just one of the musicals, and they're all like children, really, and I'm very fond of all of them.
The scope of some of these songs, taking musical theater and combining it with this pop style, and so the sound is a very specific style. The sound of singing that came about in the 80s in musical theater was a very specific style of singing. It wasn't the rock and roll sound, but it wasn't an old-fashioned, legit musical theater sound. It was the best of both worlds.
They're pop songs, I mean they are. They're pop songs that have been orchestrated and arranged in a more classical way.
People love the production on stage, or else it wouldn't have lasted this long, because it seems it still plays to full houses all over the world.
What's a crowd? Makes you glad, makes you proud, all the creme de la creme.
Watching us, watching them.
3 months of relief,
Of delight.
of Elysian peace.
Joel Schumacher and I met after I'd seen his Lost Boys,
I've never done a musical before.
which I thought was a great movie, and I thought he used music brilliantly in it.
Actually, Andrew asked me to do this in 1988,
And so we met, and we were going to go ahead quite quickly with it.
and now I'd only made 4 films.
But then everybody involved with the theatre production, I mean everybody to a man, begged us not to, because nobody knew really what the impact, back in 1988, 89, I mean we didn't know some of the things we know now, and we didn't know whether it would basically destroy the possibility of it going around the world as a stage production. So we decided to abandon it, and it was about 4 years ago that I thought, well, now the time's come.
By the time I came back to it, I'd made 18 films, so hopefully I'd learned something.
Trust me.
I walked into the studio and there was a set and 2 hours of hair and makeup and a costume, and it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen for a screen test.
She's trained for this moment her whole life. You know, she's been doing it since she was 5.
50 people in the crew, a sweeping camera, and I had Joel Schumacher in the corner yelling.
It was as if we ordered her.
So it was quite surreal.
We had the great advantage, which of course we don't have in the theatre, of being able to cast a girl as young as Emmy.
And I just remember thinking, I'm never ever going to get this part.
Because she was only 16 when she made the film.
They sent the tape to Andrew Lloyd Webber.
We can't do that in the theatre because you'd never be able to get a girl to be able to sing that night after night at that age.
And I got a call that he had said I had not been eliminated.
Emmy Rossum is the emotional heart of this movie.
They normally don't give big Hollywood movie musicals to young, unfamous girls to carry.
A star is born.
Your part is silent, little Todd.
One of the things we wanted to do with Carlotta was to make her actually quite glamorous, but just over the top.
Because I will not be singing.
Everything about her was dramatic.
I ate my ass.
From her makeup, her countenance, her physical bearing, everything.
What do we do? Grovel. When anybody who's worked in musical theatre knows Carlotta, there have been a few of them around. Grovel, grovel.
See you later, because I'm going now. It is finished.
One of the things that really touched me about The Phantom was how much he wanted to envelop somebody. And if you can abandon yourself to that romantic notion that you love somebody so much, and if somebody loved you that much, that you almost want to just forget about everything else.
I think that the story encapsulates so many different folk tales. I think it has a bit of Beauty and the Beast. It has a bit of the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
My Phantom is very different to all the others because it is high romance. The others tend to be a horror story, which didn't interest me at all.
I think that his physical disfiguration is a metaphor for parts of, we all have parts of ourselves that we feel are ugly in our psyche or unlovable.
Everybody wants to find true love. Everybody wants to be loved for who they are, not what they look like.
I heard this guy say to me once, there's nothing like a badass to make a girl's heart beat faster, you know, and I've often lived that role myself.
Did I not instruct that box 5 was to be kept empty?
I think Joel Schumacher has the most amazing visual eye. I think he's got an extraordinary eye for composition. I think a lot of his shots of the film are works of art.
My job is to hire people that are far more talented than I am. And John Matheson, who was our brilliant cinematographer, used the candles and the gaslight. And he also invented what he thought they would have in the theater in 1870 to light with. So a lot of those wonderful lamps and the colored slides and, you know, the different tricks he used on the stage are all part of his genius.
I also think he has the unique ability to use music and to trust music. Because a lot of directors, I think, would have said, oh, well, I don't think we should have this all through song, and some of it should go into dialogue or whatever. Joel never worried about that. And I think the proof of the pudding is on the screen.
The sheer scope of the film, and really just such an attention to detail that Joel had in every aspect, in the cinematography, in the cameras, in the lighting, in the textures of the fabrics, in the gold leaf on the statue. I mean, he has just such an attention to detail at the same time as being so encouraging and supportive to his actors that I think that's something that, for me, gave me a lot of confidence.
Emmy Rossum is the emotional heart of this movie, and what she does very skillfully and masterfully with Joel is create this character that you follow throughout this movie and really create an emotional core.
Joel is, without a doubt, very much an actor's director. He's also a great man who can keep you entertained and come out with pearls of wisdom that he just seems to pull out of nowhere. But you know what he does more than anything is he lets you get on with it. He gives a gentle guiding hand and really allows you, because his main genius, well, he has many genius, but he's fantastic at casting.
I am aware of the fact that I get a lot of credit for working with unknowns and so discovering unknowns. I have a different theory about it. I think that you would cast them too. I think that anybody in my position, if these people walked in your office, you would cast them also.
Let your mind start a journey through a strange new world. Leave all thoughts of the life you knew before.
You have to take those characters and push them to the absolute limit. Instead of saying, I love you, it's, I love you and I'm going to die for you.
Can you belong to me?
Joel is a great overseer of everything, you know. He knows movies like nobody else in every department.
Everybody is included in his filmmaking process, which is, I think, very rare.
And yet he sits back and then picks up on things, you know, whether it's costume or whether it's a prop or whether it's, you know, a part of your performance or whether it's something he's noticed in the music.
That kind of egalitarian spirit is really wonderful to be part of, because you create something that's a collaboration that you get the best out of everybody.
You always know he's in control, but it never feels like he is in any way stressed.
And to me, that's genius, to be able to get people in the right frame of mind that they give their very best, as opposed to having to sort of pull it out of them. That's very, you know, it's hard to do, and that requires an enormous amount of skill.
And he uses that microphone of his to lethal ability, both in entertaining and in putting you in your place when you're being out of order.
Plus, he's, you know, has an incredible artistic vision, has the most exquisite taste.
I am your angel of music. Christine! Come to me, angel of music.
The way we always approached Christine's journey to the lair was that she's so hypnotized, fascinated, and drawn to the Phantom that the gold hallway with the arms, which I stole from Beauty and the Beast, Cocteau's Beauty and the Beast, and the lair itself, the candles, the romance of it, and her transformation are all really in her mind. And it gave us liberty to do that.
In sleep he sang to me, in dreams he came.
It was fun. I mean, it was much more fun than I thought it was going to be. The visualization of it is the fun part. The doing of it is the hard part. It's easy to sit at home and say, well, we'll have the biggest crystal chandelier you've ever seen in your life, and then it'll just smash, and the whole theater will go on fire. Well, easier said than done.
The Phantom of the Opera will be out on DVD and video on May 3rd. Also available that day is a deluxe DVD edition that includes a scene that was cut from the film's cinematic release last Christmas. Coming up next, Kristen Chenoweth puts a new spin on an old standard. Stay with us.